Don't be that guy in the room, long, sloppy, looking untucked shirt. Go to untuckit.com. Falls at the right length. Code is HERD. H-E-R-D. 20% off. I'm wearing one right now. Untuckit.com. Joy Taylor is joining me. We'd love to have her on the show. NBA Finals start tomorrow in earnest. Let me just talk about this. You know, some things in sports are hard to predict. Here's what's not hard to predict. In 2 weeks or less, the Warriors will have destroyed the outman Cavs in the finals. And every radio host and every columnist and every blogger and every Twitter nerd is going to rush to the internet and go, Kevin Durant's better than LeBron. Oh, stop. Hell, he's not better than Steph Curry. Steph Curry bailed him out in Game 7 of this past series, and Klay Thompson bailed him out in Game 6 of the series. He was invisible in most of the fourth quarters. Stop it. LeBron's bigger, stronger, more iconic, more relevant, does everything except shoot a mid-range jumper better. Stop it. Good God. LeBron's the greatest Swiss Army knife in the league. Steph Curry changed the NBA. Kevin Durant didn't. Analytically, the numbers prove the Warriors miss Curry more than Kevin Durant. They're fine without Durant. They still go on winning streaks. They are not the same team without Steph Curry, from pacing to shooting. And we also know that Steph Curry won a championship in the Bay before Kevin Durant arrived. Kevin Durant couldn't win anything before Steph Curry joined forces. So those three things are inarguable. Curry changed the game. The three-point shot. He changed the look of basketball, pro and college. Kevin Durant didn't do that. Analytically, Curry's the better player and changes the Warriors. You can't argue that. And you can't argue that Curry won a title without him. Kevin Durant didn't win squat without Curry. And by the way, Durant was talking about the comparisons to LeBron James, which everybody's going to make. I'm not. Kevin Durant's going to win, probably fills up the box score and wins the MVP. His MVPs don't feel like Michael Jordan's finals MVPs. They do not. I watched them both. He goes, I can't control that, said Kevin Durant. I know what I bring to the team. I know my role in the team. It's the only thing I can do. I can help us win championship. That's a nice thing to say. My top 10 players of all time. Now, generally, I don't count centers. You know, they got the DNA gift from God, all right? But if I just said most lists include centers, okay? So instead of just being annoying, I'll just give you my top 10 players of all time. Michael Jordan, I don't think will finish as the best player ever, because I think LeBron in 4 years will surpass him. But right now, let's not argue. We'll put Michael Jordan number 1. I'll put number 2 LeBron, because I believe LeBron's going to blow away Michael in every statistical category. He's going to get to 10 or 12 finals. LeBron does more things better than anybody ever. So right now it's MJ 1, LeBron 2. Listen, Kareem, leading scorer, greatest, most unstoppable offensive shot in the game's history. He was also a great defensive player. He's got titles. He changed Milwaukee. He changed the Lakers. He changed the league. Good God, he was so good in college, they said, hey, wait a minute, freshmen can't play because Kareem will dominate. Story about UCLA is one of my favorite stories ever. He goes to UCLA as a freshman. UCLA had been champions, national champions. As a freshman, he takes the freshman team, and they beat the national champs. Number 4, Magic Johnson. Again, he's like LeBron James, but not as physically fast, strong, or gifted. Magic, to me, has always been a lot closer to Michael Jordan. He got the 9 finals than people want to admit. Number 5 is Wilt Chamberlain. Good God, he scored 100 points. He also scored 80 multiple times. He scored 70 a dozen times. He was the most dominant player, Kareem and Michael Jordan included, in the game's history. Was he a flake? Yes. Was he a good teammate? No. The women thing? Ugh. The point is, he's top 5. All right, number 6, Larry Bird. Folks, when Larry Bird broke into the league, Google the stories. You know what they were saying? There'd never been anything like this. A 6'9.5" guy is the best shooter in basketball. 6'9.5" guys rebounded. They played defense. They didn't shoot. He was the best shooter in the league as a 6'9'4". Number 7, Tim Duncan. We had a 15-year dynasty in San Antonio. Walked into the league, was a great player. At the middle in his peak years, he won 4 titles. Then when he was an old man, he won a title. He's also one of the great teammates and most coachable superstars of all time. Number 8, Bill Russell. I wasn't around, but if you win 11 titles and you're kind of, if you think about what he had to deal with off the court in that time in America and what he was doing on the court, plus I like the story that he threw up before every game. Bonus points on vomit. Threw up before every game in his career and still was amazing 11 titles. And a great teammate, by the way. Understood the game. Very intellectual player. Number 9, Shaq. Jerry Tarkanian, one night, we're out having a cocktail at a bar. Jerry Tarkanian walks in and he tells me, there's this kid, he's like 18 years old at LSU. His name is Shaq. He's going to change the league forever. He was right. He did. Number 10, Kobe Bryant. Listen, 5 titles. He's the closest thing athletically to Michael Jordan we've ever seen. Here's my point. Kevin Durant's not getting in there. Who am I taking out? Who am I taking out? Let's say Durant wins 4 more titles. But he had to join a dynasty. By the way, here's another thing. Is that Kevin Durant, and I like Kevin Durant, he fills up a box score. He got named the MVP of the last series. And I'm serious, Joy. Steph Curry won 2 games with these 5-minute 3-point blitzes. Klay Thompson won game 6. Kevin Durant didn't win a single game. I would argue Chris Paul was more valuable in the series. Steph was more valuable. James Harden was a bigger storyline, and Durant wins the MVP. He's going to win the MVP of the finals. He fills up a box score. And I'm not saying he's great, but there have been guys in the NBA that fill up that box score, and you're like, I'm not sure they were the most important person on his team. Steph Curry, to me, was the most important Warrior. They don't win the series without Steph Curry.
I agree, but if Durant wins 4 more titles, so we'd have 5 titles, you couldn't move him and Kobe?
I thought a lot about that. I would still probably give it to Kobe. I wouldn't want to be a prisoner of the moment and get trapped into the little tiny time capsule. Is that Kobe had to endure more crap. Kobe came into the league, and then he had a really good player, but he had to grow with a player, and then they fired a coach and hired Phil, and then they won titles, and then Shaq leaves him, and then he deals with crap, and then he gets Paul Gasol, and he rises, wins more titles, and Powell leaves. He scores 60 in his last game. There's a lot, and Kobe had a little more dog, a little more alpha, a little more killer in him. And if I had to go, once you want to be in the all-time club, I'm counting everything. Difference between a model and a supermodel. I won't hold a pimple against you as a model. Once you're a supermodel, that blemish is held against you. Hour number 2 in Los Angeles with Joy. Next, it's The Hurts.